Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to be talking about something that's a little bit fringe at the moment. I was going to do this live stream. I was going to tie this live stream into another one that I did earlier, and I was talking about this UFO disclosure. However, in light of what's just happened in the United States, I think it deserves a little bit more focusing and dialing in. So I'm going to be talking about how I believe Donald Trump just became the number one target for whatever, whoever, whether it's aliens, whether it's some shadow government force, whatever it is that's taking out these scientists. I believe Donald Trump's just become the number one target. So as context, there's a little bit of backstory, and I know you guys know this anyway. There has been a phenomenal amount of high-level, high-end researchers, whistleblowers, scientists working on exotic technology that have just been dying. Obviously, natural causes or whatever, all these things are being claimed. Now, the unofficial number, it's very difficult to calculate the unofficial number. There's more of these people coming out daily. I think it was today, Anna Paulina Luna, she released evidence. Well, the death of Air Force whistleblower set to reveal UFO secrets declared suspicious. Now, that was on the 18th of April. So literally, like every day, there is more revelations in this field. Yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, we was talking about this is happening in China as well. So before I get onto this, guys, if you're watching now or you're new to the channel, please hit those buttons down below. I didn't realize how much that like button really helps me out. So if you could whack the like button, please share on your socials. And if you've not done so already, please hit that subscribe button as well, because that really helps me out when you do that. And it's free. It's free. What else is free? So people of Britain, people across the world, right? Are you paying attention? Because what's unfolding in America right now is starting to look less like random tragedy and more like a calculated purge. It really is, guys. I don't think there's any way there's no way where we can say that this is not something more sinister, right? So let me share this video with you guys.
Well, it does appear that there's a high possibility.
Sorry.
Well, it does appear that there's a high possibility that something sinister is taking place here. This has been going on, obviously, for the last 3 years. So what I found in 3.5 years as chairman of the House Oversight Committee is sometimes government agencies don't do a good job of sharing information on situations like this. So we've asked all those agencies, the Department of Energy, NASA, the Department of War, to all share information with us so that we can see if we can put it together and find any missing links to try to solve what's going on here, because it's very unlikely that this is a coincidence. So Congress is very concerned about this. Our committee is making this one of our priorities now, because we view this as a national security threat.
So this is what's happening in the United States. They're investigating this now, and this is real. Like I keep saying, we can say, oh, it's aliens. The aliens they've got huge. They're starting to take out scientists and stuff. We don't know. We don't know that. What we do know is these people are really, really dead. Why? Don't know. So over the last few years, the official number is at 11, and the unofficial number is a lot higher. 11 US scientists, researchers, and whistleblowers, and that number is higher, connected to the most sensitive programs, nuclear secrets, advanced aerospace, space research, and yes, UFOs and UAPs, have either died or vanished in deeply suspicious circumstances. This has also been mirrored in China. This has been mirrored in China, and I would speculate, and this is just me thinking, I would say that this has also been mirrored in other parts of the world. It's just people have not noticed yet. So the House Oversight Committee has launched a formal investigation. The FBI is involved, but the darker corners of the internet, and among those who've been following this for a while, the unofficial number is already being whispered a lot higher. I heard the unofficial number was 23. It's very difficult to to know the full number. So JPL, NASA's JPL, Los Alamos, MIT, Caltech, remember that, guys? Air Force, research, people with real knowledge, real authority, and real access. It's that access that's key, right? Now, the question that should start getting people to be a little bit chilly, if there is some shadow government force, a deep state machine, maybe working on behalf of extraterrestrials, maybe extraterrestrials themselves, I don't know. But if they are here, quietly eliminating scientists and anyone who holds that dangerous knowledge in the UFO world, then who, exactly who would be the number one target? Who? Think about it. I can't believe I can't believe I didn't connect these dots before. Who's the top guy? It's Donald Trump, right? He is the top guy. So if there is, if there is someone cruising around taking out all these researchers, the guy that they really want to take out is Donald Trump, right? It is. The man at the very top, the president who just weeks ago ordered the Pentagon to declassify every single file on UFOs, extraterrestrial life. Just say that to yourselves, guys. This is really happening now. The man who greenlit aliens.gov, and I did do a live stream about that earlier, so I'm not gonna focus in that too much here. The one who said enough is enough, the truth is coming out, whether the gatekeepers like it or not. And then last night happened. Yes, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. At the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a gunman storms the security checkpoint. Shots fired. There was a Secret Service officer shot in the body armor with a shotgun round, I believe. He survived because he had his body armor on. The president and his family were rushed off stage. The suspect, 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen, is taken down alive. A teacher, a game developer, a Caltech graduate. Oh, and there's one thing that they don't want you guys to connect these dots, right? Thomas Cole Allen was also a NASA fellow. He was a undergraduate researcher at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 2014. Guys, listen, I understand that these dots may be coincidental, right? They may be, these dots may be sketchy, right? If you're in the United Kingdom, and I am, we are having listen, if you live, I know some of you guys watching this might be from America. Here in the United Kingdom, the media are not reporting on this, but we are having a very suspicious spate of fires, right? Fires at military locations, fires at storage depots, fires at critical infrastructure, just a lot of fires. Now, one, you can say it's an accident. 2, you can say it's a coincidence. 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 23. What you have to do then is you have to stop thinking it's a coincidence, and then you have to assume, when there's too many of these things, you have to assume it's all part of the same thing until proven different. That's what you have to do, guys. So just to reiterate, the guy who stormed Donald Trump's dinner, or whatever it was, the press meeting, or whatever it was, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, didn't just storm Donald Trump while he was having bangers and mash. He was a undergraduate at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in 2024, the very heart of America's most classified aerospace and space research center. A man with documented research ties to the same institution where many of those other scientists work, many of the other scientists that are dead, that have gone missing. He suddenly shows up, armed to the teeth, trying to get close to the one person on Earth who just ordered full disclosure. We can call it coincidence, right? We can call it coincidence. But when there's too many fires, you have to encompass all that now. You have to encompass all that and say, right, it's all connected. So is this pattern now impossible to ignore? How are there too many fires? The scientists are being silenced, the whistleblowers are disappearing, and the very night after Trump pushes the biggest transparency move in UFO history, an armed man with NASA JPL connections tries to breach the room where Donald Trump was sitting. Again, we don't know his motives. We don't know his motives. We don't. He may have just been a salesman. He may have actually been a body armor salesman, and he just wanted to shoot that guy in the body armor just to show how good it was. If they're willing, if they, and we don't know who they are, we don't even know if it's a thing. If they are willing to go after the experts, how long before the man giving the orders becomes the real target? There's a pattern here, and it's accelerating. It is, guys. It is. This pattern is accelerating. So the question So the question isn't whether something is happening. The question really is, how deep does this go, and who's next? Right, listen, I'm going to jump onto the chat, and then I'm going to try and break this down as quickly as I can. Hang on, let me turn this. I'll turn the chat on first, right? Tom Hicks is saying he gradiated. I don't even know what that means, Tom. Tom, I don't know what that means. Clarky is saying if he put on a tie and walked, he'd have gotten further than he was running like the wind. Yeah, he was running fast, right? Yeah, he may have got further, but I don't think he would have. I think he would have got stopped at that first checkpoint. So as he went through, there was a checkpoint, and that guy would have said, "Excuse me, sir, have you got a pass?" And he would have said no, and he wouldn't have got any further. Tom Hicks is saying one day they will look and they will be gone. So tomorrow my rain, so they will follow the sunset. Okay, that's absolutely fine. And David is saying, I'm sure you could figure out another way to do it. It just seems all too coincidental to me, guys. It really does. There's too much there. There's too much information. There's too much. There's too many. It's happening too much. I know I shared this previously, but there's this happened on the 18th. Death of Air Force whistleblower set to reveal UFO secrets, declared suspicious. Now, this was shared by a sitting US Congresswoman. Same US sitting Congresswoman who said she's seen information, she's seen proof of trans-dimensional beings. So when you put all this, So when you put all this stuff now into when you start looking at all this stuff, it's, it really is difficult not to connect these dots. A former US intelligence officer died before he could testify in a whistleblower hearing about UFOs, sparking demands for an FBI investigation. Matthew James Sullivan was just 39 when he died after reportedly doing it to himself. However, his official cause of death has not been made public, nor was the case reported on by local media at the time. It's just really suspicious. It is, guys. There's so many of these that are happening, and they're so suspicious. And now with this guy trying to storm in, to the US Congress, not Congress, sorry, the dinner basically last night in the United States. On its own, it's suspicious, right? A guy's trying to charge the president with a shotgun and a pistol. The fact that he had NASA, JPL ties, it's just too much. You have to put that all in the same category now, and you have to assume that it's all connected. You do. You can't not assume that everything's connected now. Right, let me just turn X off. Let me turn X off. Guys, I'm turning X off, and then I'll just be streaming on YouTube. Oh, no, wrong button. David is saying we don't know, but because we're not saying much, like usual, apparently he was a terrorist. It's absolutely insane, guys. It really is absolutely crackers. Applejacks is saying, I feel like anything outside of ourselves, we don't know. We can't know. No, I agree. We can't know. I mean, did this incident even happen? You know, did it even happen? You know, we've got a grainy footage of a guy running, a CCTV footage of a guy running. Well, that's easy to fake. And I'm not saying everything's fake. What I'm just saying is we're at that world, and I it was maybe like, I think it was December actually. People were saying like, Sean, what do you see coming in the future? And one of the things I was saying is, I said like maybe not next year, but maybe the year after. And this is how quick AI's moved forward. I said like in December, so like what, 5 months ago and change or whatever. I was saying in a year or maybe next year, so I didn't think it would happen yet. I said we are going to be in a state where AI is going to be so advanced, we don't know what we're not going to know what's happening. And I remember sharing a video, and it was like a side-by-side video of Will Smith eating pasta. I know that sounds weird, but those videos were done, they were done by AI, and they were done like, I think 18 months apart. The first video, like Will Smith eating pasta, you can tell it's Will Smith, but also it's like, it's you can absolutely tell it's AI. But I remember when that video came out, and I thought, wow, AI has just done that on its own. That is amazing. And now the new one, 18 months afterwards, I can't tell the difference. I cannot tell the difference with, with that AI video of Will Smith eating pasta. So what I'm getting at here is, and what I said back then was, we are going to be at a place where we don't know what's real and what's AI. We won't know. We just will not be able to tell. And there will be things happening, and people will be claiming it's AI. And there will be things not happening, and people will be claiming they are happening and showing you AI footage. So that's just, I'm just really conscious of that. Where that becomes difficult to fake when you start to get people involved, right? Because people have backgrounds, people have families, people have schools and histories you guys can check up on, right? So where that becomes harder to do, when there are real people there. So like, Raven, we know Raven, he's got a history. Maybe I am AI, but you guys can check my history. You can, can check where I went to school and friends and stuff. So it's hard. Well, you can't fake that. However, with the AI images that are just going to be thrown on, it's going to be really difficult to be able to fact check these soon. Old School Pete is saying, I've seen trans beings. Hang on. Okay, I don't know what that means. It's something about leaving his table in protest. Listen, guys, I am going to close. Oh, hang on a minute. Will Smith is gay. That's one thing that is real over the internet. Okay. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to close this down now. This was just a little thing I threw. I was going to do, like I said, I was going to do this as a bolted in video with my last video, but with light of what happened in the United States, I thought this is a standalone video on its own. Anyway, guys, the crux of this live stream, Donald Trump, I believe, just became target number one for whatever this thing is. Taking out scientists. I think Trump's target number one now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave you guys to your own devices. Have a great Sunday. I'll be back on tonight at my normal time of 8 o'clock, unless there's some breaking news. And I bid you. Oh, hang on a minute. A fish swims its whole life in a bowl, convinced the water is all there is. It doesn't see the glass. Do you know what, Watchman? I normally give the sheep in the field as my example. But that is a fantastic example. Yeah, that is a fantastic example. Yeah. Right, listen, I'm going to close this down. You guys are fantastic. Make sure you like and share my stuff, guys. It really helps me out, and I will see you guys later.